Hello and welcome back to M.Cliffordswittsendproductions. My name is Mark Clifford and I'm the host for this channel, and I'm hoping that as you watch this video you'll find it to be informational, helpful, and entertaining. If you do find it to be informational, helpful, and entertaining, please hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button, and join me on this journey about homelessness and low-income living and missions and shelters and all that fun stuff. Hopefully, if you have any questions about being homeless or the topic of homelessness or low-income living, you can drop me a line at www.wittsendproduction, that's wit with two T's, WITTSEND productions @gmail.com. So this is part 3 of my spiral into homelessness. So this video will have to do with the Open Door Mission in Omaha, Nebraska, the Omaha Housing Authority, or OHA, my short time in Arizona, and more of Bellingham, Washington. Now, Bellingham, Washington, for me, is kind of like Tatooine in the Star Wars series, in that it's a place I keep finding myself going back to and going back to. I still even have to go back there because I have a storage unit there to bring back to Dallas. But it seems to be every few years, Bellingham, Washington seems to pop up. The ongoing saga of Bellingham. So anyhow, with that being said, where I left off in part 2 was on October 12th of 2016. I had arrived in Omaha, Nebraska, and I had no family or friends there. I didn't know anybody. I was 46 years old, and I had the luxury of many homeless experiences, but new ones were about to be in store. So my friend FF from the last video, Farm Fresh, he had told me about his wonderful stay and experience at the Open Door Mission, or ODM. And from here on out, in the video or videos, I'll refer to Open Door Mission as ODM. FF was not the sharpest tool in the shed. A big-hearted guy, hell of a guy, would give you the shirt off his back, but he didn't have the highest IQ necessarily. So not a bad guy, just a very misguided guy. Had sold me on how awesome ODM was. But I'll be doing a breakdown of all the various missions and shelters and transitional housing that I've been in, also various resource groups that I've been able to work with in the past, in future videos. So, this is the first part of my Nebraska/ODM journey, and that took place from October 12th of 2016 to April of 2017. In April, I was invited by some friends to come and house sit their farmstead down in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Now, Sierra Vista is about 40 miles outside of Tombstone, and we got to go to Tombstone a couple times. I'd always wanted to go, and that was awesome. I would love to go back. Tombstone was great, like stepping into the Old West. It was just wonderful. So it was a somewhat uneventful experience being there, except that at the end of my stay in Sierra Vista, the OHA, the Omaha Housing Authority, and I'll refer to OHA or Omaha Housing Authority as OHA in the future, they had called and wanted me to come back so that I could move into my apartment. It was ready. But things were not ready for me to leave yet, so I was stuck in Sierra Vista for another couple of weeks before I could get back to Omaha. But I did, at the beginning of May, bus back to Omaha, and before I touch on that, in February and March of 2017, prior to my Arizona trip, I had gone back to Washington State, to Bellingham. I went to Bellingham specifically because I had been diagnosed with a pulmonary condition. It's called pulmonary arterial hypertension. Before we knew what I had, I was diagnosed with 5 to 7 years to live. So I had gone to Bellingham to say goodbyes and farewells and whatnot, and let people know that I didn't know what was going on or how long I actually had, and that after that I'd be going to Arizona. In January of 2017, that is when I found out about my incurable disease. So when I went to Bellingham, I got to visit with some old friends and say goodbyes and whatnot. And I was staying at the Lighthouse Mission again, but not upstairs in their dorm where I had been. No, I was in their secondary shelter, their outbuilding. And due to poor footwear, I had wool socks and really poor, like $5 Walmart shoes. And the snow, frozen ice, rain, and the weather, I had developed weather-related neuropathy. So that just totally killed my feet. So I do have neuropathy, but it's not diabetic neuropathy. I have had some onset diabetic neuropathy, but the onset of that was really from my trip to Bellingham and the winter weather. It really took a toll on my feet. So I talked to staff at the mission, and they said that I needed to go back to Omaha. And this was before I'd heard from the OHA about my house being ready. I'd kind of given up hearing from them because I didn't know how long it would take. In Washington State at that time, housing could take 6 or 7 years. And I had no idea how swiftly things moved in the Midwest compared to Washington State or other places. So my preconceived idea is I'll just go to Washington. It could take 6 or 7 years, not knowing how Omaha worked. But theirs actually was more like 6 or 7 months. I actually got into housing in 4. So that moved rather rapidly. So from Bellingham, I'd gone to Sierra Vista. And then when my time in Arizona came to a close, I did go back to Omaha, and I had to wait for a new apartment to open up because I had missed my opportunity with the first one. So the Open Door Mission, ODM, they had been pressing me about when I was going to move out, and if I could magically make an apartment appear, I would have. They kept saying things like, how long before do you know when you're moving out? And I would tell them, if you want to talk to the OHA for me, I would be glad to have your assistance with this. Otherwise, I don't know. And that was marginally an appeasement to them. But anyway, finally on May 31st, I actually did get my paperwork and moved into my apartment, and it was a mess. OHA, they have like 22 or 24 high-rise units, and they're all very ghetto. They're run like slums. And when I moved into my apartment, I was welcomed with all of the cupboards and countertops having dead roaches and bug shit everywhere, which I got to do a deep clean on my apartment when I moved in. Because they don't have to be accountable to anybody, so you get handed what you get handed, and that's what you're handed. So you know, I did take care of all the drawers, all the cupboards, all of the countertops, everything, and there were many just not good experiences there, which, as I've mentioned with the other places I've stayed, I will be doing a separate video on my stay there as well. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So once again, you know, this will be the content of future videos talking about the OHA and how that worked. So I was finally out of the mission and into my own slum flat. Although having said that, I will say that there was a kick to the curb for Omaha, which even though Omaha is ghetto, they do have their own high rises, and they do kick the crap out of the Dallas housing for sure. So I found that housing in Omaha and medical in Omaha just put Dallas to shame, which really is a shame. And I'll be discussing this actually in the next video. But it's really sad that a small town like Omaha outshines Dallas, hands down, in both housing and in medical. It really is kind of sad. So I had the apartment that I was in from May 31st of 2017 to May 6th of 2001. So I moved to Dallas on May 7th of 2001 this year. So that will actually be what's up next. I moved to Dallas and how things have been here and what I'm looking forward to in the future. So we'll be picking up in part 4 with the Dallas Housing, OHA, Dallas Housing Authority, UGM, or Union Gospel Mission Dallas. I call that the Ungodly Mission. We'll talk about UGM in the next video, the bridge, and moving forward into other stuff. So, I hope this video was informative, I hope it was helpful, and I hope it was entertaining. If it is or was, I hope you would please hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And, if you have any questions or comments, please drop me a line at www.wittsendproductions at gmail.com, or, that should be in the, that will be in the description below. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you sticking with my video. Part 4 will be coming up shortly, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.